Hello and welcome to the Circle of Wisdom, starring Tarot Master Christopher Onefeather. Circle of Wisdom is a webcam talk show series where we dive into the magic of tarot divination and reveal the mysteries of the unseen eye. My name is Iwana. I'm an Archangel reader and I'm proud to be your co-host today. Our host is a long-standing contributor to the Lightworker community, so please welcome seasoned psychic, tarot master and self-published author Christopher Onefeather.
And good morning. It is a lovely day here in Chicago, overcast, a little bit of drizzle, and we're feeling the advent of spring finally. The buds have begun to appear on the trees, and all of the bulbs are awakening, the bulbs in the ground. And I would apologize to the people who have been trying to hang out with us because, you know, this feeling that I keep getting, Christopher was talking about Mars, but the feeling has been almost like a Mercury retrograde.
Exactly.
And,
yes, totally.
You know, technology, of course, loves Mercury retrograde because then everything goes backwards and we end up having to constantly do damage control. And and I was observing with this last eclipse we had and the new moon. So we had the moon in Taurus conjuncting the sun in Taurus. And what was it doing? It was getting juiced up because it was in a nice tight sextile to Neptune in Pisces. And so we got to see, you know, all of that Neptunian energy flowing from Pisces across over the sign of Aries into the sign of Taurus, and the sun and the moon were, you know, doing their magic dance and getting all juiced up, and we had the eclipse, and then we had this infusion of Neptunian energy. Well, guess what? The fog bank arrived, and we had kind of a mini Mercury retrograde kind of jolt that was going on, and so I find it fascinating. No matter how much you look into the activity in the heavens, you can always find more and more things to correlate and contemplate.
That's totally true. So, but we finally managed to be here, and it's wonderful to see you again. Hello from Salzburg today. So I'm in the city of Sound of Music today. What are you saying to this, Christopher? You like that movie, no? Don't you?
You know, Salzburg is such a rich area culturally. And, you know, so I envy you being able to hang out in a very magical place on the planet. Also, it was a very key element in the distribution of power over a multitude of centuries. You know, the Habsburg family, they came up with the idea of intermarrying with all of the other royal families of Europe to create alliances, and that sometimes worked beautifully and other times didn't work that well, but wonderful city. And what has your experience so far been in Salzburg?
Oh, Salzburg is a very special city. During the time, I mean, one of the most famous inhabitants of Salzburg was, of course, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, one of the most famous composers in the whole world. And when he was born here, it was like a solitary island. So it was neither German nor Austrian. It was part of a church, of a special church community. So it was really ruled by the church, actually. So he was not Austrian nor German in reality. And we know him as this incredible composer of this magical music, which totally fits into our topic with tarot and everything. And he's also known to be as being a Freemason. So there's a lot of things that relate to our topic. And today, totally in sync with what you pulled last time for the solar eclipse. We had rain on Monday and Tuesday, as always in Salzburg, and today, just after the solar eclipse, we have beautiful sunshine and blue skies, so it's wonderful.
That's very wonderful. And now, while you're in Salzburg there, you're
Um,
experiencing a period of information exchange and doing some classes. And are you
mm.
going to be able to experience or participate in anything musical because you are the music diva?
I have sung myself very often here already, so I sang very often Mozart's Requiem here and other pieces, and I very often sang already here. He is one of the most famous festivals of classical lyrical music. It's the Salzburg Summer Festival, maybe you know it. So the most famous opera stars of the world are singing here every summer, and it's very posh and very rich, but also very beautiful because the whole city is carved into the mountain, into the stone. And actually, I wanted to show it to you today because I can see it here from the rooftop. But unfortunately, the sun is too strong today. So maybe next time.
Well, yes, well, there'll definitely be an expectation of being able to experience Salzburg vicariously through your computer. That would be lovely. Now, just out of curiosity, I know we're rambling here, but I do have a little bit of an idea in the back of my mind as far as the geographic region there. And Gutenberg is not real far from Salzburg, is it?
Gutenberg, I don't know the city. I don't think it's Austrian. It must be German then. But this is not far away. Salzburg is just at the border to Germany, to Bavaria. So it could be that this is very near. Yes.
And I find it interesting. Salzburg was such a culturally rich region, and Gutenberg was where the printing press was first created. So again, this is the perpetuation of human and especially European culture. So you're in an area where you're really steeped with this rich texture of humankind leaving their impression on the world that they inhabit, and that must be a very exciting part of traveling in that area.
There are so many tourists here as well, and there are so many things to see. There is a lot of Baroque architecture that you can visit. There are a lot of castles, and there's a lot of things to eat. For instance, we have the famous Mozart balls, which are little chocolate balls filled with marzipan and nougat, and this is a specialty made by hand, and it's named after the famous composer as well. So there's a lot to see and to do here.
That is fabulous. And now we've got, I'm sure, all of the audience is green with envy at this very moment. So let's pull a card and kind of calm everybody down. You know, I wish that I could imitate that laugh that was the dominant feature in the movie Amadeus. Do you think that that Amadeus did in fact have that insane laugh?
I'm not sure, but we all know, because there are so many letters that he left, that he had a very special humor, and he was very frothy actually, and he was using he was swearing a lot. So people know that he was really, excuse me, but he was saying shit all the time. So he was not a very noble person. So he was really a very Aquarian type. He was Aquarius actually, and he was really ahead of his time. Not only with his music, but also when it comes to social, cultural things, and also when it comes to his personality. He was really eccentric. Yes. So maybe, yes, maybe he had this crazy laugh. I can imagine, yes.
Yeah, I always thought that there was a certain element of authenticity about that. So, but I'm going to segue real fast to the card of the day, the card that the vibration, the energy that we are reaping here on planet Earth from the influence of the spheres. And I'll give you a chance to do a guess. What is your guess about today's card?
Oh, yes. We have Janice Ainsley, and she says she's a Capricorn and needs a card pulled. Okay, she just started massage school. Sorry.
Okay, well, I will do that for her. I'll do that for the people in the chat room. But the vibration for all of us today is, in fact, the card.
Oh,
And
Oh.
yes, one of my favorite cards in the deck, interestingly enough. You know, this shrouded figure, this specter of finality is a beautiful card because it means that the old self is dissolving away, and that's exactly what we had with that buildup of the new moon. We had the old cycle beginning to disintegrate and turn into, you know, almost like a mist, and just finally uh, leave the universe. But it left with potentiality, and that really is what La Muerte, the death
Mm.
card, is all about, is the possibility of you being able to create a new you. So this is, again, riding the crest of that wave of, you know, new energy that comes when the moon goes through renewal. And so, you know, today is a day of celebrating a new form that you are giving birth to. It is a card of that step beyond pregnancy. You're finally giving birth. So a lot of the energy out there is going to be focused on birthing new projects, birthing new relationships, birthing new experiences here in the material world.
That sounds awesome. That's
Yes.
wonderful. That's exactly what is happening here with my course. I already told you that here was a big transformation in the group where I am at this course. There were a lot of people crying, and there was a breakdown, a major breakdown, and now everybody's suddenly happy and looking forward with joy. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
we
very
are all
much
very
in
excited.
tune. Yeah, very
Mm-hmm.
much in tune with that idea of arising after experiencing certain trauma and death, because we get attached to things and it's hard for us to let go of things that are moving into the past. So, yes, we do have a few people who are looking for cards. And
Mm-hmm.
Janice
Yeah,
Ainsley,
Janice.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's a Capricorn. Well, Janice, you know, you've got the influence of Pluto. You're a Plutonian person right now. You glow in the dark, and you're getting ready to start massage school. So let's see what's going on there. This is an interesting card that I pulled. Because once again, it is in tune with the idea of the death card, and this card is being very emphatic in telling you that as you step into this new realm in your journey in this world, you really have to work right now on releasing the past. If you try to carry baggage from the old world into this next stage of your life, you are going to find that you bog down the whole process of your life. So, you know, imagine a pair of scissors, and you know, taking the cords of attachment to the past. Take those scissors and snip the cords very, very methodically, very consciously and clearly. Do a meditation, maybe even write down all the things that you feel like have been holding you back on a piece of paper, and light a candle and burn that piece of paper and release the past. That's really the most important part of taking this next step, is that you enter into this next phase of your life with the expectation that you are building a lot of newness. You are creating a new identity. You are going into a new realm. So see yourself as a very magical child entering a new stage and a new play and a new era of your existence.
Wow, that's a very nice part.
Yes.
And as we were talking already about purifying ourselves with the help of fire, we could start to talk about all the elements that are represented in the tarot. And even in Mozart's most famous opera, for instance, The Magical Flute, which is a real Freemason opera, there is also a rite of passage where the hero has to go through this test of faith, through those fire, earth, wind, and water tests. So can you tell us more what that symbolizes in tarot? Which symbols symbolize all those elements, for instance?
Well, the elemental layout is, very obvious when you stop and contemplate it. The coins or the pentacles are uh, earthy, the material life, our material existence. So we have Earth as a foundation. And right above Earth, we have water, which is the cups. And that's our emotional range and our spiritual range that we're putting emphasis on. Then we have the swords, which take us into the realm of the mind. The mind is what we use to fractionate the universe around us. We, dissect things and analyze things, and sometimes we allow that to get out of control. So we really need to be conscious of the fact that the mind is a tool, but we are not our mind, and we can't allow it too much free reign. And then the final element would be fire, which is represented by the rods. And fire is the process of transformation. So when we set fire to a situation, we burn it up, we transform it, and something new emerges. And of course, all of those elements are represented rather nicely in the Magician, the first card of the major arcana. And you can see this guy has got, a couple of swords crossed on the deck. He's got a couple of coins. He's got a cup there. But they went a step further in emphasizing the element of fire. They didn't just stick a rod in there, but they have a black candle and a white candle. So you've got fire represented in the Magician's card in a very literal way. And because we have duality expressed, a black candle and a white candle, once again, the imagery gives us the realization that transformation and alchemy and making changes should always be done toward the light rather than toward the dark side.
So, what would you say, as we were already talking about the Freemasons, they were very strongly connected to the tarot and thus also to alchemy and turning lead into gold and finding the philosopher's stone. And there are a lot of Freemasons that were creating tarot decks as well. For instance, we talked about Rider-Waite last time and about Aleister Crowley. They both were Freemasons. They were in the lodge of, it was called the Order of the Dawn, I think. Dawn, sorry. And what can you tell us about the Freemasons in connection to that?
Well, the Freemasons are like everything else. We do live in a universe that is fueled by duality. And within the schools of Freemasonry, we have some very celestial images and ideas being incorporated. My favorite of the schools was the school of the Rosy Cross, and that's the Rosicrucian order. But the Golden Dawn order was very alchemical, and basically Freemasonry was a platform for people to evolve their consciousness. And you start off by manipulating matter. But what happens after you arrive at a certain plateau? You realize, oh, this isn't giving me, that fulfillment that I've been seeking. And so, it's like a child waiting for Christmas to get, the first BB gun or whatever. And you're in a state of anticipation for months and months and months. You receive it, and then what happens? You play with it for 3 days, and then it goes in the closet or in the corner, and you're looking for the next thing. And that really is what the material realm is all about. It's consumption. We're always consuming. We're always trying to get something new to happen. So in many ways, it's almost a gluttonous journey if you get stuck in that realm of the mundane, where it's all about transforming one material form into another. The Rosy Dawn order of Freemasonry was especially intrigued with the idea of transcending the material realm and arriving at a higher realm where a much different lifestyle was being expressed. And within that higher realm, there is the shift in awareness so that you have that realization that you're already fulfilled. So you're not out there looking for fulfillment and trying to uh, accommodate this appetite of, consuming everything that you encounter. So there really is a very clear distinction, as with all things in the realm that we occupy, as to the higher and lower vibration, the polarity of positive and negative. And the other thing that's quite interesting when you really stop and think about it, since you're there in Salzburg and we're talking about Amadeus, was that
Yes,
this was, yeah, he was one of the most brilliant musicians of any era, and he
that's
launched
true.
very early. Yeah, he was a child, creating these magnificent musical etudes that were so far ahead of everybody around him. He
Mm.
lived, a very fiery life, went through life very rapidly, died at a young age. But
Yes,
on the dark side of controlling everything, when he left the planet, um, there was ignominy around his death because he was dumped into a pauper's grave and lime was cast on the body. So we don't really have any true final remains of
that's true.
Amadeus.
That's true. We are still searching for the grave. We don't know where it is. They already exhumated some skulls and stuff like that, and they are searching for the real one, but we still don't have it. So we don't know where his remains are actually. So
Hmm.
that's very, and the whole death, his whole story, the whole story about his death is very mystified, and people say that Death himself came and gave him the order to compose the Requiem, which he never finished. So one of his pupils finished it. So there's a lot of mystery around all of this.
Hmm. And that seems to be the prevailing order when you start entrenching yourself in that realm that the Freemasons, are most well known for. If you go back and look historically at the history of Freemasonry, a lot of people who became very acute at being able to manipulate the energetic world, the material world, often had a passage into that higher world that was kind of a rough ride. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Freemasonry, but I am saying that
Mm.
you really have to look at where your attention is leading you. And if your intention is just to manifest something, there's a good chance that after you get it, you're going to discover that it wasn't really a rewarding or fulfilling experience that you had anticipated.
Exactly, because I think you have to find this gold or this philosopher's stone inside yourself, deep inside yourself. And I also think that that is what the journey of the hero in the tarot and also in the opera, the magic flute, is about. So we are today at our second card in the major arcana, and it's the magician. So do you want to tell us more about the magician, Master Onefeather?
Well, the magician, as the soul begins to advance on the journey in the material world, one of the first things we discover is that we do have the ability to alter our surroundings by intention. And the magician puts a very strong highlight on that idea, on that imagery. The first card, the Fool card, that initiation point, is the unified energy field that we come out of, that we are born forth from. But then as we start to make the advance, we find that uh, we do have a dualistic phenomenon going on. So when you look at the magician, you also have to look at the second card, which is the high priestess. And
Mm-hmm.
that will be the card we'll look at next week as a
Yes.
counterpoint, because we have done what by arriving in the material world? We have split our consciousness. We have the conscious mind, the magician, that's looking around going, oh, I want this, I want that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then we have that silent observer within us, the
Mm-hmm.
subconscious or unconscious mind. And most people spend their entire existence responding to the conscious realm, the ego mind, and they don't access the deeper realm, even though it is exerting a very significant but subtle influence on all of the experiences of our lives. And so the conscious mind is like a wildfire. It's burning out of control. It's the magician. It's going in all these directions at once. But it is failing to recognize that something is missing, that there is a part of itself that hasn't been revealed. And that's why people in the magician mode frequently have a lot of chaos going on in their lives, is because they don't slow down enough to seek inner union, to seek that unification of those two spheres of our consciousness.
Oh, I understand. So would you say that the fool is the soul in his in its oneness and wholeness, and then in the magician it splits up into duality? Would you can you say that like this?
Yes, it absolutely is. The reason that this material realm came into being is because we believed in this one microsecond of contemplating our reality. We imagined ourselves as desiring to be separate from the collective consciousness, separate from all that is who we are, separate from our totality. And so that idea of separation is like a lightning bolt. It strikes, and all of a sudden, boom, you're this little bubble over here. You imagine yourself to be separate. In reality, we all still are part of that one unified consciousness. But within that, that lightning bolt hits you in the top of the head and created a chasm, like the Grand Canyon, between the two aspects of the mind, the conscious and the unconscious. So it is a very profound statement about entering into the material world and what the journey here is all about, and what our ability is that we don't recognize. Because in order to really become fully creative, we have to reunify. Because creation comes through love, and love is part of the collective, and so we can't really access those deeper levels of love of self and love of others unless we work toward unification of our own consciousness.
Absolutely. So that's where the search starts now with the magician. Wonderful. Do you also have a passage from your book for us on the magician?
You know what I did? I, for some reason, closed it.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Because.
But let's see here. We are going to.
Because you can learn about every tarot card in the major arcana by purchasing and downloading Master Onefeather's ebook, the Metaphysical Tarot Workbook, and it's available at soulmart.me at Soulmart, or you will find links to his book as well there, as the ability to purchase a private reading as well with Christopher over Skype. So let's see what there is, Master Onefeather, in your book about the magician.
Yes, in the book itself, we start off with, a little bit of dialogue about, the modalities of reading and the intention of reading, and then we go to the individual cards. And
I understand. So would you like to skip that for now and go to a mini reading first?
Well, I pulled it up here real fast, so
okay, good.
I'll read you actually the two first paragraphs,
okay,
and
wonderful.
you can kind of go with that. It says, the first numbered card in the major arcana, is the first step we take in the realization of our power, or more correctly, the power of God within us, that we can use to transform the world that surrounds us. In the corporeal world, duality is central to all events and conditions that we encounter. And the Magi, the magician, symbolizes our conscious state of existence, as well as a process of initiation. It is a masculine energy. It's the masculine urge to put forces into motion, to utilize our resources and define our surroundings. So there's a certain element of air that is coming into this. As you know, the mind all of a sudden is taking on a much different format here. The magician is an archetype and a reoccurring theme in everyone's life. So you'll always notice, you know, this aspect of your own life. It's a reflection of a deeper awakening and self-discovery as we evolve towards self-mastery and a higher vision of our identity as spiritual beings. So, you know, and then I go on.
Wonderful.
Yeah, from that I go on blah, 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 as I'm known to do. But
so if you want to read more, yeah.
Yeah, that's a little...
Metaphysical Tarot Workbook, yes. Sorry, I can hear you, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you, sorry.
Okay, so yeah, that gives people a little tidbit, or as some people say, tidbit. I have never quite figured that one out, but anyway, yes.
So if somebody from the audience would like to know more about this, as I already mentioned, you can buy the book on soulmark.me, or you can also book a reading. And in case you're wondering what a reading with Master Onefeather is like, you're in luck, because now it's time for our mini readings. So let's start with Chris Kuhn. She would like to have a love card, as we were talking about love vibrations, and moving to the right place in May, she's asking.
Yes, and she is a Virgo. She's my solar opposite. I'm a Pisces, so there's always kind of a nice, fun exchange of energy whenever I encounter Virgos in my journey here. And for Chris, oh my goodness. Look at this, the 10 of Cups, satiation, fulfillment, the wish achievement card. So I would say you are going to be moving into the right place. And my instinct is that somehow there is a new sense of family waiting for you when you make this move. It's almost like you're stepping into a set of circumstances where you're going to find new people, new energy, and a new sense of harmony in the environment, and a new sense of community that you perhaps have been longing for. Because Virgos, they can get real ziggy if they don't feel like they've got that connection to some kind of a circle of support and love and validation. And I think that Chris has perhaps been feeling a little bit of that kind of energy. So I would say that this move is going to be, you know, the perfect move in the right direction, because your family is waiting for you in this new community that you're going to be entering into.
That's a wonderful card. It's one of the most beautiful in the deck. So, and then we have Wendy Mason. She's a Libra, and she would love a general card pulled for her.
Wendy Mason. And her overall card, oh, now this is nice. We've got the 7 of Coins, 7 of Pentacles. This is a card of finally starting to see fruition in your life, moving into that passage where, even though it's spring here in North America, you're ready to start to harvest. You've been putting a lot of effort into, you know, different aspects of your life, and you're going to start seeing rewards come through, especially as we move into May. And I would say about the 15th of May forward, you're going to be noticing some really solid validations coming in your direction from, yeah, you've been putting a lot of effort into this, the plants are healthy, the tomatoes are appearing on the vine, and so you're going to have a rich reward kind of cycle that you're going to be stepping into over the next 3 years.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. So we already had 2 of the elements, now only 2 more are missing. So let's see if the higher forces send us those elements.
That could be,
so we
yes.
So we are having mantra or mantra, is asking, where's the future of my career going?
Oh my goodness, you're asking for one of those validation cards. And guess what? You got it. We have fire. You are going to be on fire. So I get it's not a career change, but I get it's like fine-tuning your career and discovering or rediscovering the passion that you had for the area that you have directed your life. So I do feel like you may be making some lateral moves for a while, not really feeling like you're advancing up the ladder like you had anticipated. But within these lateral moves, there are subtleties that are at play. And I think that you're going to be able to crystallize your vision, and that's when the real significant advance is going to occur. A lot of turmoil coming up in July and August, and that's when new doors are going to open. You may be leaving one group of people, moving in with a new group of people, but I feel like by the time summer's over, you're really going to be on track and seeing a lot of growth and a lot of new energy flowing with you. So that summer sun is going to be a source of vitality and growth for you.
Lots happening there. A lot of passion and fire. Wonderful. So, and now we have Lana. She says she's a Capricorn with a Scorpio rising and Taurus moon and would love a general card.
Great. Well, I have my Taurus ascendant. My moon's in Aquarius, so but she's got earth and water and earth, so it might be time for lightning to strike in her realm too. Let's see what happens. You know, in some ways, I think that that there was a certain amount of validity in what I just said, because right now she's having to balance out the elements of earth in her life, and the caution within this card is that earth is very heavy energy, you know, and this poor soul is on a tightrope. So you're kind of in a precarious area right now. It's like with that Capricorn sun and the Taurus moon, you look at what's going on here, and you can get very, dense. So you can get very intense, very heavy. So you need to really work on being able to bring yourself into that realm of dance and movement and stimulation and activity, and I think that's really where the key lies for positive transformation for you right now. It's like if you are a brick, you're going to have a brick's experience of the universe you inhabit. And right now you've got to allow that watery aspect here, the Scorpio energy, to flow more freely. Allow your emotions to flow more freely, because I feel like you bottle up a lot of emotional responses to life. You need to just let go. And so I would say flow is really the key element here. But really watching that balance between those two heavy earthy energies. And when you feel like you're getting stodgy, go out and scream at the stars at night, or go dancing naked in the woods, or whatever it takes. But loosen yourself up a little bit, and life is going to be exciting.
Excellent. A little bit of ecstasy is always good. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and Master Onefeather, I don't know if you know that, but our own Mary Neva just was at the hospital, and I thought maybe she would also appreciate get a card pulled. Maybe you can pull a card for her and her getting well process.
Well, for Mary, we have back to the earth. This is the great prize is being presented to her. The Knight of Pentacles, her knight in shining armor, has arrived. And the way it is arriving is with the gift of healing, regeneration, grounding, and, dust of dust, earth of earth. We are spiritual beings, but our vehicle, our body, is very much a reflection of the earth. and is reduced to Earth when we abandon it and go back to whence we came. But for her, I see regeneration, healing. It's going to be a little bit of a journey, but it's going to be a rewarding and somewhat exciting journey. The big thing is to, use positive affirmations like, I am a spiritual being, and the body is simply my vehicle in the material world. And,
that's very good news. I'm sure she will totally appreciate it when she will rewatch the show. And it's so funny because it's all about her root chakra and her feet. So it's very interesting that you just pulled an Earth card. So that's very affirming.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. And then we have Melody Boland, our own Melody. She's Leo with an Aries rising, and she would love a card on this career activity.
Okay. Yeah, good old Melody. We know that she's like wildfire on a mountainside. Just,
yes.
Out there. Oh, my goodness, look what I pulled. We have the King of Rods, the strongest.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the strongest of the fire signs.
Wow.
And when I looked at her question here in the chat, or what I got was an image that was literally like a hillside. Those California hills that are that beautiful tan color with the oak trees and things like that. And I saw like a fire starting at the base of this hill, and it just ravaged the hill. It just went crazy, and the Santa Anas, as Christopher had mentioned, had kicked in. And so all of a sudden, there is this rapid advance. I would say July is when the spark is going to ignite your career, and you're going to be moving in a lot of different directions at once. You're going to have to really make sure you give yourself sacred space to return to in the evening, a lot of activity, but a lot of reward in the sense of personal fulfillment.
Wonderful. That sounds very good. And I'm just to appreciate all fire energy that is in that card.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Master Onefeather. Thank you for your precious time and for sharing your circle of wisdom with us.
Well, it was my pleasure, and I'm sure we're going to have some really amazing experiences, because this new moon shift was very, very profound, and I think, all of us are just beginning to realize how layered this was. And over the coming week, we do have some interesting things going on, but I will point out very specifically, be aware of Venus that is just about ready to enter into Aries. So Venus has been luxuriating in that Piscean, Neptunian energy, and all of a sudden we have the union of fire and water in our lives as Venus moves into Aries. So my thoughts are that things will get steamy next week. Get ready for it. If you're in love, you're going to have to deal with that being in love thing. And
so would you mind to pull a general love card for the energies, maybe? For the
absolutely, yes, as our final statement here.
Yes.
And this is also quite interesting. We have the Eight of Cups. If you're going to be in love, you have got to leave the past behind and be fully present in the new love of your life. So be willing to abandon the old attachments. Once again, I keep reiterating that, so evidently people need to hear that. Let go of the past. Don't cling to it. And start off in a new direction. Follow your intuition. Follow your dreams and desires, symbolized by the moon there. And you'll find that love is going to appear in areas that are unexpected. You're going to be blindsided and surprised, but in a good way, with that advance of Venus into Aries.
Wonderful. That's a very, very good closing energy and card, because we started off with the death, with the end and the new beginning, and now we are validating that again. So it's all about stepping into the new. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Master Onefeather.
Absolutely. And you have a wonderful time there. You're going to go. You're going to be out meandering around, so when you come across those beautiful treats in Vienna, go ahead and have an extra one for me.
Oh, I will. But Master Onefeather, I'm just warning you. You should watch out for your mail very soon.
Oh, uh-oh. I'll have to
Maybe
put
you
it.
find something there very soon. So maybe you can indulge in a little bit of Salzburg as well.
That would be lovely, yes. They are chocolatiers extraordinaire.
Yes, they are. So, Fox, that's all we have this week. But be sure to visit Master Onefeather on the web. You can book a reading, purchase his book, or watch prior episodes at tweettalk.tv. And we thank you all for joining us on Circle of Wisdom. I'm Archangel Reader Iwana, your co-host and moderator, and we will see you here next Wednesday at 12 p.m. United States Eastern Time. And Master Onefeather, do you have a parting wish for our audience?
Oh, my usual, which is, get out there and share the love, pass the love around, and I will see you in 1 week.
Thank you so much. Peace, love, peace.